You don't notice it at first. The quiet figure sitting behind your thoughts, the shadow that moves when you move, the enemy that wears your face. Musashi once said, "The battle begins long before the blade is drawn." And you feel the truth of that now, because your first battlefield is the space between your breaths, and the first opponent is the whisper that tells you to doubt your own steps. There's a moment, subtle, invisible, where you feel your mind turning against you, not violently, not openly, but in a soft, familiar way. The way a trusted companion becomes distant. Today's world hides this treachery behind stimulation, comparison, noise, but that only blinds you to what Musashi always saw clearly, that the real conflict is internal, private, silent. While the world debates your worth, it's your own mind that quietly guides your hand toward defeat. You sit in a dim room. Across from you is yourself, or something that looks like you. Its eyes do not blink. Its posture does not shift. It watches, waiting for the moment your attention weakens. You ask it nothing. It answers nothing. Yet you feel the tension rising between you, like a duel without swords. And here, in this room where no one else can see, you begin to understand the truth a warrior learns the hard way. Your mind is not automatically your ally, but there is no reason to panic. Musashi never panicked. He simply noticed. He recognized the enemy without hatred, without fear. He understood that survival begins with awareness, with acknowledging the presence of the shadow beside. You doubt you survive your own mind by facing it, by recognizing that the enemy is not loud, not dramatic, not monstrous. It is quiet. It is patient, and it knows every weakness you refuse to admit. But now, for the first time, you are looking back at it, and something in the darkness shifts. A mystery flickers, a pattern breaks, and the battle, the real battle, finally begins. The mind does not always attack with silence. Sometimes it unleashes a storm. Musashi knew this well during his long travels alone, nights when the world fell away, and the only sound was the violent crash of his own thoughts breaking against the walls of his discipline. You know that storm too. The thoughts that arrive uninvited, swelling until they overwhelm the borders of who you believed you were. They come as waves, relentless and unreasoned. Waves of regret, waves of comparison, waves of fear. Today's world amplifies them. Notifications, messages, demands, judgments, each one striking your inner cliffs until you feel something inside you begin to erode, and the storm grows louder. You stand in the center of this chaos, feeling the winds twist around you like a living thing. Your thoughts flash like lightning, images, memories, compulsions, each one hitting with the force of a blade swung blindly. And you feel the familiar panic, the sense that you're losing yourself. Piece by piece, thought by thought. But storms are not survived by fighting the wind. Musashi understood that the warrior who resists the storm is the first to break. The warrior who anchors himself is the one who endures. So you plant your feet. You steady your breath. You remember that no wave, no matter how violent, lasts forever. This is the inner dojo, the place Musashi trained more fiercely than he ever trained with steel. A space inside the mind where no thought is feared, no emotion is denied, and no storm is avoided. Here, the chaos becomes your teacher. The wind becomes your mirror. The lightning shows you the shape of the fears you've avoided naming. And as the storm continues to rage, something unexpected happens. You stop running. You stop resisting. You let the waves crash, and yet, you remain. A strange calm forms, not outside you, but inside the eye of the storm. And in that stillness, the first lesson of survival becomes clear. Your thoughts are powerful, but they are not the master. Not unless you hand them the blade. Musashi learned to watch an opponent's stance without being lured by it. He could study a man's rage without letting it ignite his own. He understood something most people never learn. Distance is power, and the same rule applies inside the mind. Your thoughts rise like sparks from a fire, fast, hot, convincing. One spark is harmless, but hold it too long, and it burns you. Most men clasp their thoughts the moment they appear. They react, they flinch, they obey. But you are beginning to see the truth Musashi lived by. You are allowed to step back. Imagine your thoughts as figures moving across a battlefield. Some shout for your attention. Some beg, some threaten. Others disguise themselves as certainty. In the modern world, this distance has been lost, replaced by instant reactions, emotional reflexes, the compulsion to respond before you've even understood what's happening inside you. And that is how a man becomes a servant to his own mind. So you step back, a single step inward, not outward. The battlefield widens. The noise thins. You see your emotions not as commands, but as movements. You see your impulses not as truths, but as attempts. You see your fear not as a prophecy, but as a silhouette. This is the art of inner distance, the psychological footwork of warriors, creating a space inside yourself where clarity can breathe, a space where you are no longer drowning in thoughts, but observing them with the calm precision of a swordsman watching an opponent's blade. And in this space, you find something rare. You find the ability to choose, to respond instead of react, to let a thought pass through you without shaping your identity. The sparks keep rising, but you no longer hold them. They burn only when gripped, and you have finally loosened your hand. A subtle mystery flickers again, a sense that something deep inside you is waking. You feel it. The mind is no longer dragging you. It is circling you, and you are learning to see it clearly. Awareness is not passive. Musashi wielded it like a weapon, sharper than any steel he ever carried. It was the quiet blade he held, even when his hands were empty. The modern world mocks awareness by calling it mindfulness, diluting it into something soft, something gentle. But a warrior knows better. True awareness is a cutting force. You walk through your days half asleep, drifting between tasks, scrolling through obligations you don't remember choosing. Autopilot becomes your silent captor. You move, but you do not act. You think, but you do not see. And in that trance, your mind learns to command you. Musashi would call this blindness. A man without awareness is already defeated, because he cannot sense the blade approaching him, whether it's an opponent or his own self-destruction. So today, you lift the inner blade. Slowly, precisely, awareness trims away illusion. It cuts through the stories you tell yourself to avoid discomfort. It slices into the fog of fear, revealing the shape of the problem beneath it. And with each deliberate breath, you sharpen that blade further, not dramatically, not for others to see, but in those small choices you make when no one is watching. The discipline to stay present, the courage to face discomfort, the refusal to be ruled by impulse. This blade does not threaten, it clarifies. It divides truth from distortion. It cuts through hesitation and reveals intention. And as you wield it, you begin to understand why Musashi feared no opponent. A man who can see clearly cannot be manipulated, not by others, not by circumstance, not by his own mind. A shift occurs, another quiet pattern break. You feel your inner blade growing lighter, faster, deadlier, not against the world, but against the confusion within you. You are not becoming harder, you are becoming clearer. And clarity is a weapon the world does not expect you to carry. There is an enemy inside you that does not shout. It waits. It learns your routines, your fears, your weaknesses. Musashi warned against luxury, laziness, and the softening of spirit because he knew these enemies better than any swordsman he ever faced. And today, they take modern forms, subtle traps disguised as comfort. You know their names. Procrastination, porn, envy, indecision. They creep into your days, like smoke, filling the spaces where your purpose used to breathe. They do not attack with force. They dissolve you slowly, the way water wears down stone, the way temptation weakens a warrior without him noticing the exact moment he stopped fighting. This is self-sabotage, the familiar demon that studies you from the inside. It knows the excuses you will believe. It knows when your guard drops. It knows the gentle tone to use when convincing you to betray your own potential. And the worst part, it sounds exactly like you. But survival does not come from hating yourself. Musashi did not treat weakness with cruelty. He treated it with discipline, with respect. A warrior does not scream at the part of himself that struggles. He confronts it with steadiness, with structure, with a blade sharpened by awareness. So you wrestle the demon, not violently, but deliberately. You see its patterns. You recognize the moments it steps forward. You sense the shift in your body when temptation tries to pull you sideways. And slowly, with each decision, you weaken its grip. There is a moment, small, almost invisible, where you feel something break. The demon hesitates, the familiar voice stutters, and you realize it is not invincible. It is only practiced. You stand taller. Your breath deepens. A hidden clarity surfaces from beneath years of distraction. You feel the battle turning, not because you have destroyed your weaknesses, but because you have finally faced them without flinching. And for the first time, self-sabotage looks uncertain. It senses you changing. It senses a warrior returning. There is a calm Musashi carried into every duel, a stillness so profound that it unsettled the men who faced him. They expected rage, aggression, dominance. Instead, they were met with a quiet so deep it felt like standing before an ocean at night. That is the calm you are learning to build. This calm is not softness. It is not detachment. It is the immovable center of a man who has survived his own storms. Today's world teaches you to react, to flare up, to drown in emotion the moment it appears. But a warrior understands that calmness is an expression of strength, the kind that cannot be provoked, manipulated, or broken. You sit by an inner lake. Its surface does not ripple unless you permit it. Thoughts approach, but they no longer plunge into the water. Emotions rise, but they no longer swallow you whole. You have become the guardian of this stillness. Something shifts in your presence. A man who is calm in a noisy world becomes unpredictable, unreadable, dangerous. Not because he wishes to harm, but because he cannot be controlled. He is governed by intention, not impulse, by clarity, not chaos. This calm terrifies the forces that once ruled you, the noise, the doubt, the comparison, the internal panic that once dictated your choices. They try to shake you, but the lake remains still, and in that reflection, you see the truth of yourself without distortion. This is the calm that comes from understanding your mind instead of escaping it, from holding the inner blade with steady hands, from stepping back, anchoring yourself, choosing clarity over chaos. A final mystery flickers, a sense of inevitable transformation. The mind that once hunted you now hesitates. It feels your presence. It senses your steadiness, and it begins to bow. Mastery does not arrive all at once. Musashi knew it as a lifelong duel, a quiet, daily confrontation with the self, fought not through drama, but through presence. And now, after walking through the storms and shadows of your own mind, you stand at the threshold of something rare, command. Your thoughts no longer startle you. Your impulses no longer claim you. The inner enemy you once feared has become something else, a companion, disciplined by your awareness, guided by your distance, steadied by your calm. You are no longer surviving your mind, you are leading it. The modern world wants you fragmented, distracted, overstimulated, but you move through it like a man carrying his own dojo, an inner place where noise cannot enter unless you allow it, where storms become training, where thoughts become signals rather than commands, where your identity is shaped not by fear, but by intention. You walk differently now, not with arrogance, but with alignment. There is a centeredness in your steps, the quiet confidence of someone who has seen his own darkness and did not run. You understand that mastery is not dominance. It is relationship, cooperation, dialogue. Your mind will still whisper. It will still test you, but it no longer holds the blade. You do. And when doubt returns, as it always does, you will meet it with the calm simplicity of a warrior who has already walked through fire. You are becoming the master of your own mind, not by defeating it, but by understanding it deeply. And in that understanding, you discover the final truth Musashi lived by. A man who leads his own thoughts cannot be led by the world. A man who commands his inner space walks through life unshakable. A man who survives his mind becomes something the world rarely sees. A warrior of clarity, a carrier of stillness, a presence that cannot be broken. And now, the shadow that once hunted you walks beside you, not as an enemy, but as part of the path you've learned to master.